Howdy everybody, Big Anklevich here, podcaster, author, and carnivore. And it is my report for Monday, July 15th, 2024. This is week 59 of my journey to Wonderland using, we'll see what we get this week. It's a crazy week, as you can tell. This is not my usual backdrop, because I'm coming at you live from my work, because I had to camp the night here because we had a hurricane here in Houston. And yeah, I'm going to be here all day today. So yeah, what are we going to have? Well, I'm shooting for lion diet and exercise. We'll see if I manage to get any of that in. Hopefully I'll be okay. At the very least, I will do my best to stick to carnivore. And yeah, let's get into the daily videos and let's see how this week goes. Here on Big Anklevich on Health. Okay, so it is Monday and just finishing up my all day at work day. I slept the night here last night, got up in the morning and hung out in the morning, then I went to work, worked all day, and finally we were done with the coverage. The hurricane has passed over us, and it has left us alone now. It's on to bother other people, but it has caused some trouble. In my own house, I know my wife told me that a fence that we have between our garage and our house is blown down. So she said she sent me a picture, but it never got through because the power is out also. Power is out. The fence in the garage is blown down. I'm sure there's more. This hurricane has treated us badly, worse than the others. We've been here for a lot of storms. I was here for Hurricane Harvey, and Hurricane Harvey wasn't as mean to me personally as this one is, but we'll see how it goes. What did I do for food today? I brought the roast and the roast beef, chuck roast and ground beef combo that I made. I made a chuck roast, and then I also fried up some ground beef and I mixed it together, and that was pretty good. And that was my food. And that was all I had. That and water. There was nothing else to have. All they had here was crackers and garbage and candy and pizza. So I didn't eat any of that stuff. So that was the day for day one. Now it's time to get in the car and go home and see what there is left for me. Okay, everybody, it is Tuesday and day's not even over. It's not even dark outside yet, and yet I feel like it's been a long day. I slept terrible last night. Had no power the whole night long, so we had no air conditioning, so it was a little hot. We had the windows rolled down, like open, and that helped some, but that also opened the windows to the sound of all the generators out in the neighborhood. So it was just engines running all night long, and here and there was a guy starting up his generator. I don't know if it was going out or what, but he kept going out and so that was not good, and I'm really tired. Right about the time that it was time to leave for work, I was like, boy, I could really take a nap right now. That would be great. But yeah, instead I got up this morning, we cleaned up the yard, had to rake up all and drag around. There were some really big branches that fell out of our trees, a couple of them big enough to be trees themselves. So we cleaned up that, cleaned up the fence. I think I mentioned in my last thing that the fence, my wife said the fence blew over. It's the fence between the garage and the house, and that got blown over, and there's some other damage to other parts of the fence. The gate has been blown off one of its hinges, the other hinge still attached, And there's a fence in the backyard that's also got some damage to it. It was leaning, so we put a 2x4 there to prop it up. But now the top has been kind of snapped apart there, as you can see. So yeah, I had to work on all of that stuff this morning. I was out there working in the yard all morning long. I also had a flat tire on top of all of that. I had that as well. So I had to fix my flat tire as well. And yeah, it's been a long day. But we're not talking about that stuff. We're talking about Carnivore here, right? So what did I do for Carnivore? Well, this morning I got up and I looked at what we had in the fridge. We had a few things. The fridge is off. So those few things were going to start going bad. So I figured, well, let me take those things and let me get them cooked and eat them before it's too late. One of the things that I got was tri-tip. I got some tri-tip roast from Costco this week, which was, this was going to be my food, a decent amount of my food for the week, but instead I just had to cook it up and eat it as fast as I could. So this morning I cooked both tri-tip roasts. I ate one mostly by myself. My daughter did have some of it in the morning, and then I brought it with me to work. The other one, I sliced that one up and brought it with me, and I had a little bit more of that when I got here at work. The other thing I had too was bratwurst sausages. We had these in the fridge. They needed to be cooked, and I don't normally do sausages. I'm supposed to be doing lion diet, but this week is different. It's a different week. Once you get hit by a hurricane, I think you can give yourself a week of, maybe I have some different meat. Everything is closed, so I don't know. I will eat what I can eat at this point. Tomorrow I may well be eating corned beef out of cans, sardines, those kind of things. That might be what I have to do as the week goes on. We shall see, but it's going to be a little crazy. So anyways, that is what I had. I had a couple of sausages and a bunch of tri-tip. And I didn't get my exercise in yesterday or today, but I mean, you could say that I did. I was out there working in the yard. I don't know if that counts. Carrying heavy, broken down pieces of fence around. But I guess the exercise is going to be the same as the food. I'll get it in if I can. Okay, everybody, it is Wednesday, and it's day 3 with no power at the house. And yeah, the food is running low. What did I have today? Well, check this out. This is a bowl of corned beef. Canned corned beef. I had that this morning. I probably could have gotten some stuff out of the freezer and maybe you cooked that somehow, but I figured that I would give that one more day in the freezer and let it, because it's still pretty frozen. So I figured I'd let it hang out there a little bit longer. So I had some cans. We've got this canned meat. There are issues like this in Houston frequently. Every summer there is the chance of a hurricane, as well as we've had a freeze. We've had, just various problems that have caused some serious issues. And so, and not to mention the whole pandemic that we had before that. Everybody got to experience that, at least, unlike Houston. But yeah, because of that, we have a fair amount of canned food and stuff set aside just in case. And it's just been sitting there all this time. So I figured, you know what, I am going to use it this time around, and we'll buy some more down the line, because how long is it going to be good for? You can't just have canned food forever. So yeah, I busted open a can of corned beef and also a can of ham. It was canned ham, although it was basically Spam. I don't know. It was all right. It wasn't Spam brand Spam, but it was Spam. And I ate that too. And it was fine. It wasn't terrible. My stomach kind of feels gross. But, you know, I guess you do what you got to do. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll get out some of that stuff that's in the freezer and we'll start eating that. Or maybe we'll have our power back and maybe the world will go back to normal again. We'll see. Is there such a thing as normal anymore? Hey everybody, it is Thursday. And it is yet another day with no power at my house. Which, you know, that makes a lot of things difficult. Just can't cook as well without power. Our stove is electric. We don't have a gas stove. So I'm out of luck with that. Air fryer, out of luck with that. Basically, it's just barbecue. Or we can do a camp stove. We have a camp stove with some propane. Could do that in the backyard or something. But yeah, so what did I do today? Well, I ate a can of corned beef. Oh, that's another thing. My phone is dying, and right at the perfect time when I have no way to get it taken care of because nothing's working right now. So I don't have a picture of my corned beef. I can throw up this picture of yesterday's corned beef because it's exactly the same. It's the same can. I even put it in the same looking bowl. So why not? And then after I ate that, I was like, I am still hungry, and that did nothing to satisfy me. And I heard that the grocery store was open, so I got in the car and I drove down to the grocery store to check it out. And the weird thing was that it was so normal in there. It just seemed totally normal, like nothing had ever happened. It's like I got in a time machine and I came out on Sunday morning before the storm happened and went into the grocery store and I was like, hey, wow, look at this. This is a normal grocery store. Everything was normal. It wasn't ransacked. There wasn't a bunch of, you know, places where stuff is missing. But, you know, there wasn't a lot of stuff that I could really buy and use, unfortunately. I'd have to look at it and go, can I cook that? Can I eat that? Even most of the meat, I'd look at it and go, well, I'd have to slow cook that if I wanted to eat it. So don't want to buy that. So yeah, in the end, I just bought a chub of hamburger, a chub of ground beef, and I cooked that up on the barbecue. I made hamburger patties out of it instead of cooking it on the stove like I normally would, which would have gotten me a lot more of the fat. Instead, the fat went down into the barbecue and basically made this thing a flaming pyre. It was just blowing fire like crazy because all the fat was dripping down and then catching fire. And the funny thing is, I had two sets of hamburgers. I cooked the first set and there was fire coming all out of it. And I was like, well, I guess I'll turn this off and let it cool down. I'll put the other burgers on and they can cook with what's left of the heat. And then once it cools down some, I'll turn it back on. I didn't need to. These burgers cooked themselves. They were frying and then the heat would go, or the fat would go down and it would make more fire come up. They cooked themselves. It was crazy. But yeah, I ate most of those hamburgers. Some of them right away before I left for work, and then later at work I had most of the rest of them. So I had a pretty decent amount of food. Probably didn't get enough fat though. That's probably why I ate so much, is because all the fat got burned up in the fire. But you know, I'm getting by. It's a weird week, and hopefully, it sounds like I may not even get power until this week is over. So we may not even get a resolution on this video. We'll see how it goes. Okay, everybody, it is Friday. Coming to the end of this crazy week. Still have no power. So I'm not getting very good sleep at night. I have to admit, it's hard to sleep when it's super hot. So I'm tired all the time. But I am struggling on. As part of the theme of this week that I'm just trying to get through, I had myself pork rinds today. Cracklins to be exact. Yeah, I was at the store I was at Walmart getting my tire fixed. I think I mentioned that I got a flat tire at the start of the week. I think I said that on Monday. If I didn't, I got a flat tire like right when the storm hit, and that's all I needed. I managed to get the spare on, and limped along until now. And I got my tire fixed today. And while I was waiting, it was at Walmart, so I was walking around, and I got this and that. I got myself a big chub of beef that I was going to eat. But they took long enough that I also finally said, you know what, I want a treat. And I got myself pork rinds, and I ate those. They were good. I'm not overwhelmed by them, at least this time, so I don't think I'll be eating them tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So that's good. Otherwise, yeah, I ate that chub of beef. I cooked it up on the barbecue. I made kind of burger patties out of it, and I have eaten some of those. I didn't eat as much as I did yesterday, and so it's coming along. I don't think it's going to be a big victory of a week or a big defeat. I guess it's a big victory if I don't have a complete disaster, really. There's like right now in work, there's a bunch of like cake that I could eat. If I ate that, that would be a bummer. But it's a big victory to not give in to that on a week like this, going without power for an entire week. Yeah, it's nice to be able to withstand that. So that's what's going on today. Okay, everybody, it is Saturday, and guess what finally happened? Our power is back on. Oh, it's so wonderful. So wonderful. The air conditioning is kicking in. My ceiling fan is running, and it is making it feel so much better in here. And I am so happy. I feel bad though, because there's still plenty of people out there who don't have it. And I've heard that some of them are even going to have to wait still like 5 or 6 days to get it. So, gosh, that sucks. It's like survivor's guilt, I had a lot of that when Hurricane Harvey came through, because we didn't really get that damage during Hurricane Harvey, but so many other people did. And here we are again. We only had to go 6 days, 5, I don't know how many days it was, Monday through Saturday. But all I can say is that I am rejoicing to have our power back. Before we got our power back, we went out, me and my wife went out, and I figured I'd get some McDonald's hamburgers. Because, some places they've had power for a while, and McDonald's is one of those, so we went to that. Sadly, we got there early enough that they didn't have their dinner stuff going yet. And that's a loud truck. They didn't have their dinner service going yet. And so I had to get breakfast stuff. So I wound up getting sausage patties and eggs, which neither of those are Lion Diet, but I can't say that I've been eating Lion Diet this week, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I got myself 6 sausage patties, 3 eggs, and I made little sandwiches like these out of them. And it was good. It was nice. I remember the last time I had sausage, it was terrible. Like, it was the spices on it was so overdone that it made me want to puke. And in this case, it wasn't so bad. So that's good. And then when the power came back, there were some things that I started cooking up. I had a chub of ground beef that I had to fry up. It was, it hadn't completely thawed out or anything like that. So I set it on the counter. I thought it didn't take long. It only took a few, like an hour for it to get cold enough that it was thawed. And then I threw it into the frying pan right away and I fried it up. And that's what I ate for the rest of my food for the day. And that was pretty good. So, yeah, it's a good day. Things are getting back to it. Okay, it is Sunday, and it's the last day of this crazy week. And sadly, it's probably the worst day of this crazy week. I finally gave in to a few things that I've been trying to avoid all week long. I did have some cheese, which I know I shouldn't do, but I kind of was afraid that sooner or later that was gonna happen, because I was letting myself have other things that generally the slippery slope always leads me to the cheese. But yeah, this morning I got up and I had bacon and eggs for breakfast. Because yeah, yesterday when we were out grocery shopping and refilling the fridge, because our fridge was completely empty because all the food had gone bad and we had to throw it away. And so we had to get some new food. And while we were thinking, I'm like, you know what? I want to have some bacon. I haven't had bacon in forever and I feel like it. And so I had bacon and eggs for breakfast this morning. I don't think I'll have more of it. It was fine, but it wasn't anything amazing. And then a little bit later, I also had a couple of burger patties. We were trying to surprise my daughter. She works at the Whataburger, and we wanted to come through and surprise her in the drive-through line. And so we pulled in there, and sadly, she didn't bring our stuff out to us, so it didn't do any good. She's worked there for a while, and I've tried this a couple of times, and I've never managed to get her to be the one that actually comes out and brings me my stuff. So, oh well. But I did end up eating 2 hamburger patties then. And then later in the day, I cooked up a big thing of pork belly that I bought yesterday. That was another one of those treats along with the bacon that I decided I'm going to eat this. While I'm not doing a lion diet, I'm going to have myself some of this stuff. So I had pork belly and I cooked the whole container of it. It's like 2 pounds. I don't know, it was a lot. And while I was waiting for it to cook, because it took forever because there was so much of it, I also cooked up some eggs again. And that was where I put cheese on the eggs, put a bunch of cheese on it. It was tasty. I'm sure I'll, have gas because of it later and wish that I hadn't done it. But it was good while it lasted. And then the pork belly came out and I ate almost all of it. I couldn't quite eat it all because there was so much. And yeah, it was pretty good. Good stuff. I love pork belly, I have to admit. And, I don't think it's a bad food to be eaten. It's really good. And it's got a high fat percentage and all that. So I'm sure because I ate so much of it, though, just the sheer weight of it's going to make me weigh more tomorrow. But I'm not too worried about that. This week was, the week where I was just going to let all that go. And so that's what I did. And yeah, I don't know. This isn't the last week of weirdness. There are weird things to come. So it's not going to get particularly better for a little bit. We'll be well into August before things really get to normal around here again. So we'll see how it goes. But if I can just stay more or less the same, only go up a pound or 2 or come down a pound or 2, stick around that same level, I'll be happy with that. All right, so there you go. That is the week. That was the week. It was definitely a week. I made it through, did pretty good. I didn't fall off the wagon. I was teetering on the edge, I guess you could say. I did eventually make it all the way to cheese, which, I don't know, I guess that's my if that's my big cheat, I can't feel too bad, I would say. Like there's plenty of people who say they're carnivore and yet they're, I don't know, drinking diet soda, or they're, every now and then just giving in, having cake, having cookies, having something like that. And that's a legitimate cheat. That's something bad. If all I do is have some cheese, which, I know it's not good for me. I know it's going to give me gas and make my gut just unhappy. But otherwise, it's not a problem, It's not a thing that I need to, completely avoid. And I think once I get all the way to where I want to be, once I hit homeostasis and I can just stay at my body's specific weight that it should be at, I think I'll have cheese sometimes here and there as a treat. So I can't really complain about going there. And it was interesting. I ate canned corned beef several times this week, just because that was what I had to eat, and trying to figure out a way to cook something else was just too much. But yeah, we got our power back, and things are pretty much back to normal. It's not all the way back to normal. Everybody out there, they still have issues. There's plenty of people that still don't have their power. They're having to remove so many trees. So many trees came down in this storm, and they're all on top of power lines, and I've seen plenty of them myself. So I feel really bad for those people that are still stuck without power, and I'm really grateful to not be one of them. As sad as it is for them, I'm glad that I am not them, and I'm happy to have some air conditioning and to be able to and to be able to cook, to be able to just, all of our food that we had in the fridge and the freezer, pretty much all of it was ruined. I did manage to save a little bit of meat. It was frozen solid, and it was good for a pretty long time, surprisingly, in that freezer without going bad. But yeah, we'll have to see. I have to replace all that stuff. We have to refill our refrigerator. Our refrigerator's never been so clean, though. There's that. But yeah, we have so many containers available to use because there's not a bunch of stupid leftovers in the fridge in this and that container. So I can just cook something and have a container for it. That's nice. But it's a lot of wasted money, though. But yeah, we made it through. I made it through, and I stayed carnivore the whole time. I didn't fall off the wagon. I didn't get too depressed with the way things were going and just give in. I think that means something. I think that means something big. I think that means that I'm really there, and I've felt that I was really there for a long time. I've thought, okay, I think I've learned my lessons, and I'm not going to go back to what I was. And I have to admit, when I was at stores this week, because I went to plenty of them because they had air conditioning, while I was there was a lot of times where I kept looking at food and just thought, oh, a Reese's, that sounds really good right now. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And plenty of times where the temptation was there, but I didn't give in. I just turned my back on it and said, nope, not going to do that. And I think that really means something. I think that's important. I feel like I'm beyond even if I think I gave in and did have something, I think I could probably get back to the proper diet quickly instead of taking months and months and months. I'm not gonna try it because I fear that it might still take me a while to kick that habit. If nothing else, it would suck to have to switch back over after switching to sugar burning, to switch back again to fat burning. I don't want to have to do that. So I'm not going to give in. And I know that it's really dumb. But I think I could even withstand that. I think I've turned the corner, and I've got a new way of looking at food. I understand what is food, what isn't food. I don't rebel against the idea. I know a lot of people where I told them about carnivore, and they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then they'd be like, oh, but is it really going to be a problem if I have some vegetables? I mean, come on. And probably not. But you're not just going to have some vegetables. You're going to have some cookies. Come on, admit it. Yeah. And they just, I'm to the point where I'm not going to rationalize it like that anymore. And I'm excited about that. And yeah, I made it through something crazy like being without power for a week. And it's going to be another couple of weird weeks heading after this. So I guess we'll see how well I can keep that up. And I will see you again next time. Thanks for watching Big Anklovich on Health.